All right. I'm
Morning.
just
Hi, Paula.
recording this from the very beginning, and I want to welcome everybody that's here. But there's a lot of stuff I got to get out. Um, there. I'm leaving my sunglasses on because I look electric, right? It's how I freaking feel. Over this last week, I've plugged into Shasta-like energy here and had experiences on last Sunday afternoon with light beings on what we call the farm. It vibrates at such a high level that I can't tell you. So, Paula was just before we got started, and that's why I said, wait, let's start to record this. She spotted some of the things that happened to me yesterday on social media that Tim, who is, part of the couple that I'm here staying with, likes to off-road to my advantage. And he knows the freaking places, like the back of his hand. So yesterday, he said, hey, got a little time. Come on, we'll go out to Shaman's Cave. Well, I've heard about it, seen pictures of it, but yeah, we went there yesterday. It was amazing. There were things we saw yesterday that we were meant to see that he had been there many times and had not. To me, they're energy related. And you'll see some of these photographs soon because I'm going to share them with you. We kind of assembled them all last night. He posted what he had posted. I hadn't digested it because I had videoed the entire trail on the way up. And then when you got inside the cave and enjoyed it from there, it was overcast. So the clouds played a role in what the sun was letting through and what it wasn't. And then at the very end of the trip, as we were coming out of there, we looked off in the distance and the rain was starting to come into Sedona off in the distance. Off behind what I now learned was chimney rock, was some phenomenon that created a light spectrum that was so vivid, we had to stop. Tim scrambled to get his phone up as quickly as he could, so he got it before it dissipated. But wow, the colors were so vivid, you would think it was like the end of a rainbow, but it wasn't. It was like a mass. So you'll see it soon. My point is that energy is here. And where Paul had begun to say, I'm just not feeling going to Shasta, which right now none of us are. It's not that time of year. Guess what, guys? I found similar energy right here. And there's a model to what's going to go on here. And over the last week, mystery school, because I totally understand the plan. Takes a week. You're here and enveloped in it really for 3 days. And when I say mystery school, there ain't no freaking curriculum. There's no homework you get because I don't understand your journeys. Everybody's is different. And so here's where this is not for newbies. It's for advanced levels like us. When we get together, we were meant to get together today, and you're going to describe a situation that you're in, unique to you. That's when some person in the tribe as the next piece of the puzzle for you. And that's how we evolve. So how can you write a curriculum for that? No, you have to get out here in nature in that kind of energy and just open yourself up to it because it's electric. And that's when everybody else shows up. I had been so focused on connecting to the Lemurians for a while now, as you can imagine, and a better understanding of the inner earth. And this is absolutely Lemurian energy that I am connected to. Then I stopped to think what Dave has brought to the table for me. And he's made it possible for me to connect to, his tribe off planet. Now that's an interesting bridge for me. And I had to get used to the idea that, sooner or later, it's inevitable that all of this contact is going to take place. And we're activators activating each other to just make that kind of, we all understand how that's going to happen, and we can assist the others when the time comes, which, as you know, is soon. So I'm going to hand it over to Dave. I missed him on Thursday because he took the day off after making, I don't know, as many pies as he made. But we still love to hear your wisdom. Here's your chance, buddy.
Well, good morning, everybody. Lowell, sounds like you had an impactful visitation. And when you're able to finish all the downloads, then you'll probably be more comfortable talking about it. I told you they were going to come down and visit you. Dude, I can
That's what
tell.
I wanted to mark this here. Mark this as a
I
timestamp. This is another
can
thing
tell.
that Dave said was coming, and here it came.
Yeah, I can tell. So it's a really powerful energy that passes through you slowly, and it's reorganizing your code in your mind, and the downloads reorganize your neurological functions so that you can receive all of the information they gave you, because they know that you're on a lot of different programs anyways. And you said something really interesting. There's no writing this stuff down. You just have to come out and experience it. And God bless you for saying that, brother. This is why I don't sit out at these stupid gatherings trying to sell good advice in a paperback that's got my face on it, because everybody knows all the answers. We all know the answers. We feel them. The only reason our lives aren't whole and pure 100% of the time is because we're still developing, or perhaps we like what we're doing even though we know it's wrong, and we're addicted to that lifestyle. So it's breaking through those addictions and those behavioral disorders, and everyone will be there someday. We'll all get there. We're all getting there now. So there's no book, and there's certainly no pill. It's love yourself deeply, forgive yourself deeply, be compassionate, and then go out. Go to the place where the energy is. Connect with Gaia and go to the ley lines. Go to the sacred spaces, the sacred caves, the temple mounts, the rocks, the places of ascension. They're all over the planet. And Arizona is, near and dear to my heart. My father lived and passed away there in Arizona, in Prescott. And my mom had a ranch out in Rama, New Mexico. So I've hiked all the national parks, and I've been to all the mysterious places I could possibly pack in a few years. But
I'm going to give you a reason to come out and visit again.
Oh, I don't need a reason. I just need the time. I mean, with Christmas here, I'll be pretty much chained to the bakery for the next 30 days. But after that, I'm going to have some time in January, and William and I are going to go out hiking in the high desert. So I don't know if we're going to go to Arizona. If we do, we're definitely going to want some time to find specific geology and minerals and ancient geology. We're really into that. But aside from that, there is no thing. You just have to go out. You have to go. There's no, I like everybody, you have to go to Contact in the Desert once. And I went in 2019 and found that to be hogwash. And there were some really nice people there, obviously, and some people that wanted to connect, but the majority of it was snake oil salesmen. And all these people selling stuff that we already know, selling someone else's story, selling wisdom from the past that they just regurgitated on their own and used their words. All the wisdom's been there. All you have to do is, it's almost like licking your finger and connecting to a light socket. It's there all around us. All that ancient wisdom, all of it. From, the Zoroasters, or from Methuselah's finger, or from Aristotle or Eratosthenes, from, all the great thinkers of the past, from Hypatia to Theodotus. I mean, there's so much good, powerful, wonderful energy everywhere. Just disconnect from the multimedia lying machine. Turn off the TV, turn off the radio, don't read the papers, because there's nothing in there but bullshit and lies. What is real is this very moment, and everybody knows that, I think. So, like you say, Lowell, there's no writing this down into a book. That's all hocus pocus. That's a contrivance to take your money. And that's why we don't do this. We show things that are our story, but that's it. And if I write a book, Well, I know that the first one that I do is going to be about mathematics, and I don't think anybody's going to want to buy that unless you're a mathematician. You know, so but it's like I'm still working on my textbook and my educational syllabus. This is going to be a university level disclosure that's going to travel the world. I have so many top physicists and mathematicians assisting me right now with quantum hypertext, this new language using the light and showing the three-dimensional models of the shadows and everything. I have so many
Yeah.
important people from Cambridge University to the University of Prescott. I've got people at Purdue and MIT. I've got all kinds of people that have dropped out of NASA that are looking for retirement programs. They're all helping me write this math book, but who the hell is going to buy that? It's going to cost $50 and it's going to be that thick. And, you know, it's all going to be about physics and stuff. So that's a whole other thing. I could write down stories about Kim Jim, and then I could go out to these public things and say, oh, this is a little Kim Jim bracelet, or this is a medallion that's going to take the energy and throw it around you. And, oh, this will make you feel better because it's from Kim Jim. And, oh, Kim Jim said to sell these blue crystals because he's blue. I mean, whatever. It's, you know, why go? Why go? Because the universe is all around us, and it encapsulates us with its love. It surrounds us with its beautiful life energy, and it wants to teach us. The universe wants to teach us everything that we've forgotten, and you just open up to it. So yeah, Arizona's super powerful place. Is Paula there today? Paula, who else is here with us today? Anybody?
Irene is here and I'm here as well. Yeah, I mean, this is very special, wonderful things going on right now. Like I can sense it, I can feel it. I feel this draw to Sedona that I've always been interested in Sedona, always been interested in the desert and those red rocks. And I guess I kind of never knew why, but now it's becoming ever more clear. And I'm going to allow that right moment to come that way. But I think Sedona's the spot. Like, I really feel it. It's amazing. And
This
so great to
this
see
little
Irene,
enterprise
Dave,
is
and Lowell today.
sorry. This little enterprise should be ready to use it the way I think it's supposed to be used by the end of January. So the timing for visiting after that is good. Um, Later, I'll share with the tribe here what mapping that out with, like what that coming in on Monday night and leaving Friday morning looks like. And you decide whether you want to overlap the weekends. But what you're going to do here in this time is experience. You're coming to be experiencers. You came to feed. I'm just here to point you in the direction of where I found the energy. And if you vibrate at the same level, I guarantee you'll find it too. That's it. And you have to find it in your own way. That's what I'm here to point you in the directions where I freaking found it. And it showed up. Light beings. Sunday afternoon, like at 1 o'clock. Yeah. Sunshiny day. Yeah, they showed up. I was putting some plants in an area over by the gardens off in this back area that Julie is mapping out. So I had the day and it was great. I wanted to dig in the dirt anyway. So I said, well, show me where you want to put these plants and, I'll come by and put them in. As I'm doing that, I'm the only one on the campus here. They call it the farm, and there are two structures there. And when you see more about it, you'll just fall in love with this parcel. It's amazing, and it's on some energy that's incredible. Let me set the tone here. Remember that when we think of Telos, we think of the city under Shasta, which is accurate. But Telos was a territory, boys and girls, in Lemuria that took over like most of North America, which explains the energy here in the Southwest. We're sitting on, allegedly, a temple. Think of this as like South Telos is where Shasta is, like North Telos. In my mind, energetically, that's what I feel here. So when I had another light being experience in the middle of the day here, same stuff. And it's nothing but playful, loving, and helpful were the three things that popped into my mind in these encounters. I've been shooting some video on the property where I'm actually staying, which isn't the same. It's about 10 minutes away, and there's plenty of light orb activity around here. I'm still trying to find something in the sky, but I've been just pointing my camera at Pleiades because I'd never been able to see them with my naked eye, and well, I can see them with that infrared camera pretty cool. That's the kind of thing that you get to plug into here. And there's so many places that you can finally get out and connect with nature and replug. I don't know how anybody does that with all the other white noise around them. It doesn't take you very long. You can drive 10 minutes in any direction away from where I am right now and find a place in nature to connect. And then, things that have been waiting in your DNA to just and to wake up, and they just open up. So, I've been talking about mystery school, and I knew what the premise was forever. When I think of that, I think of, Socrates with his initiates around him. And none of the initiates, they're not all other than basic, math things like Dave is trying to explain to us, things that we should understand, that have cosmic significance, sacred geometry. Other than that, each individual is moving along trying to figure out what their individual mastery is. And that's our job, is to extract that out of you, figure out what role you play, which is different than all the rest of us. Cool.
If I can interject, what I found was, rather than seeking out to draw their mastery out for me, because that's better, that works better for you. What I found is that just by keeping my contact experience as open, honest, and understandable as possible, because they really helped me be able to communicate the experience clearly, I know in doing so that they put tonal triggers into the story that allows people to have an aha moment when they hear me talk about the unbelievable depth of experiences of being taken away, taken to the Taurus system, and then returned. And the many hundreds and hundreds of experiences I had in that 4-day period, and all the things that they showed me, that acute awareness of being able to communicate what I saw because it was so fantastic, I think is a way to draw people's mastery out. So your story as a shaman, your personal tale of your path, that's what draws out people's awareness of their own mastery. And I've been watching this happen more and more. One of the things, because I've been hiking in the high desert ever since I was a small boy, and I was pretty lucky. I mean, grow up on the beach and then go to the desert. So there's native people's spirits in the form of orbs that are land protectors, sacred site protectors. And they're like angel spirits. And there's lots of different types of orb. There's telomeres from outer space. Mm-hmm. And there's spirit orbs. When a departed loved one wants to come and see us, they can travel in the form of a little orb. And each orb has a different light frequency, a different shape, a different size. And if we can pay attention very closely to the message from the orb, that helps us understand what kind of orb it is. And I am no stranger to being approached by native people spirits, and they allow me to walk into sacred places because they know how much I love Mother Earth. You don't walk out there with a pack of cigarettes and a bunch of loud electrical equipment and a bunch of trash and leave all that shit out there and saying you had a marvelous time. You hike and you keep it as natural as possible, and you hike all the way out into the very vast distances. And then you stand, and then the desert speaks, and then the mountain speaks. You absolutely have to get away from every connivance and contrivance of humankind in order to have a deep connection. And those orbs are magnificent when they come to you. I've had the same experience at Hovenweep. the Elephant Trail, Four Corners, Mule Canyon, a lot of the Anasazi stuff that I hiked to. It was funny. I was doing all this national park trekking around 2008, 2009, and I went alone on half of it, and then the other half I went with a really special gal who was part Native American, and we saw orbs, but at the time I wasn't really, sure what an orb was. This was many years before Kim Jim came into my life. But we saw lights, and so we just called them fairy lights because they made us feel good and they were pretty. But it came to me much later that those were land guardians, Gaia guardians, who would test your spirit. And if you're an evil person, and if you have malice and you don't care about Mother Earth and you smoke cigarettes and cause forest fires, a rattlesnake will come and bite you. A brown recluse spider will come and bite you on the hand. You will have a bad experience, or you'll slip and fall. So you must walk into all of these dangerous natural areas with the greatest, highest reverence, because once you understand that beautiful relationship of pure peace and how the mother will support all of us, no matter what we do to her, she will keep giving us her gifts because she is our mother. And so it's very important to be in observance of the beautiful naturalness of the environment so that you are immediately within harmony of that environment. And I know that you are, Lowell. I know that that's why the orbs show up right away. And I would like to start paying more attention to the way they look and perhaps discover how they make us feel to identify what sort of orb they are. Because as a scientist, you know me, I like to categorize and to look at things in a different way.
And that's the Capricorn in me. I want to understand it in a way that I can explain it to others. So I'm glad that you talked about the different types of orbs, because that's important to understand. But I do want to distinguish what I saw on Sunday was not an orb. It was more of a stream of light.
Wow. So that's an entity. That's a being.
Well, I thought it was an entity until it moved closer and it split into two before it dissipated. It was freaking cool though. There are animals on the 2-acre property right next to it. German Shepherd who, knows me, comfortable with me, and then 2 little yippers that when people are out, they come out and do their thing, and that's Helen's property. So I was out there by myself, putting these plants in the ground, and the yippers saw me and they came out and did their thing. And before I knew it, the German Shepherd was over by me, probably 20 feet away from me on the other side of the fence line, and wasn't paying any attention to me, didn't bark, didn't really, I'm sure he knew I was there, but he was looking off that way toward the house. And so I looked back to see what got his attention, and he started to bark a little bit. Well, I went back to, digging the plant in, and when he stopped barking and he sat down on his haunches and just stared in this direction, that's when I looked over and saw this phenomenon take place. Hi, guys. Good to see you. There's an area back in that back part of this parcel that looks like not a landing zone, but think in terms of, if you've seen the Thor movies, remember the pattern that the Bifrost leaves on the planet's surface? Kind of looks like a labyrinth, but not. That's the design that's in my mind. And when I went back there and looked at it, even the way that somebody had cut it looked like that, for goodness sakes. It just looks like this is a place for, if you're ready for contact, it can happen here. Yeah, place is amazing. So sooner or later, there have been people on this property whose energy couldn't tolerate it. She had rented a pieces of these parcels for a bit on Airbnb. One person was here for 2 days and couldn't endure the energy because it was too high. So, but for those of us that can, oh my God, that's when I began to appreciate looking and starting to follow. Dave said, look in this direction, and let them know that they're there and signal. And so that information, Dave, you taught us about CLPT and CLPF now came in handy when that was the way I was supposed to receive information. And I have a greater appreciation for the process you had to go through originally with just their initial downloads, assimilate you to understand the rest of the ones that are coming, because that comes at a vibration that we're just not used to yet. But here
Right.
is kind of the translation mechanism to do that with.
Right. And the only thing I could relate it to, because it's very hard to talk about after it happens. I can tell there's a timbre in your voice. It's
Yep.
relatable. It's relatable to the same power as the wrath of God. When I got those first messages that cleared this multitude of passageways, it was like all of these optic fibers I had in my brain were sort of plugged, and it went through and cleaned them all out so that the message would flow to where it was supposed to go. Honestly, that's the only way I can describe it. But it was like I am being communicated to by God. And I've swam with dolphins. Come on, I grew up in the Pacific. I've seen whales. I swim with beautiful sea creatures all the time. My son and I snorkel and dive all the time down here. You grow up at the beach, that's what you do. If I was in Illinois, I'd be a linebacker. So it's just what you do when you grow up. Anyways, I have had communications, lions with my mother. I've traveled the world. I speak several different languages fluently. I know what people are like. And I had never had that energy ever come through by any creature or experience than the one you've been through. And it's very difficult to discuss. And my advice as your friend is just to take a deep breath and wait a few more days, because damn, wait till the second, third, fourth messages come in, because they realize, and you have to, once this process starts, you have to tell them that your mind and your brain and your soul are a sacred space, and that this is your property. And at any time you can will them out by just shutting down, and they will disappear. And tell them that you're interested in talking to them and receiving information that's only about what you resonate with, which is compassion, understanding, and educating people. And they'll help you with those things. And anything else, you don't have to ask them for help. And this is the really big difference between a religion and a relationship with Beyond Earth Sentience. In a religion, we're taught that we have to go through a series of sacrifices, a series of gesticulations, movements, and platitudes, prayer, and all these other things. And every religion has them. And then they ask you to go to church and put some money in the tithing plate, or make a donation, or donate your time to this charity, or blah, blah, blah. And then once you've committed yourself 100%, then we'll help you get healed through this process. Because now God will speak to you because you've become one of us. Wrong. All that's wrong.
Yeah.
When they approach you, they don't have any of those mental shackles or any of that dogma. They just come right in and go, oh, look, he has this, and this wrong with his brain. Let's go ahead and just sort that out. And they sort it out just like that. And then they go, okay, let's say hello. And then they send you a hello flash. Then they send you another flash, and they can feel your electrochemical response. And they can feel it from many miles away, because they're targeting your soul. Your soul has a light that they can see, just like the light that German Shepherd saw that you didn't see at first until you opened up to it. We have to train ourselves to open up to even see this stuff. Most of these special beings or these portholes operate in a spectrum of light that only animals can see. Because why? Because animals are completely without sin. They never lie, and they're directly connected to Gaia because of their genetics. Aren't they lucky? So it's, we have to work on seeing those portholes open, seeing those special beings. And that's by pureness of thought, pureness of heart, always being honest, always being loving. Take it on the chin, do your best, and just get on with it, right? Because everything will be
there.
fine.
They're
and they're
there.
there. They
And
want you.
they want you to vibrate at their level so you can
Oh yeah,
experience
that's not a
them.
problem.
So it
Yeah,
just continues
that's
to
it. Yeah.
boil down to, how do I get my vibration that high? You think
Right.
joyful thoughts and do things that bring you pleasure, and that bliss just becomes like part of you.
Right.
But
And
Dave
they'll
is
set you
right
up.
about preparation, because there was a period of time here where, when I first had these experiences, and when Yade Yamaya would ask me, "Now, are you open to receive?" I, not knowing any better, of course I'm open. I had a couple negative experiences that I was taught to discern through. And so I'm very guarded about what I now in the future allow in. And I'm uh, I am full of love and light, and I'm here to blossom that. I'm an activator of activators. I'm a connector. So my job is to continue to, you know, spread this light so that the rest of you can do the same thing. It's like, just, I'm no more or less than the candle. And when I light you, same brightness, but man, watch us, light everybody else freaking up with
Yeah.
the knowledge of who they are and what kind of individual gift they have to contribute to the rest of it, while we all realize that, by the way, the shift is going on, guys, and the clock is ticking.
Yeah, far out. Hallelujah. I'm watching the skies, and then that's just, gaze upon the heavens often. Look up, stop looking at the palm of your hand where the phone is. That's that ancient Hopi prophecy. The sky will be filled with spider webs, and mankind will walk around staring at the palm of their hand. God, they've been, trying to tell us about this, and this was part of their ancient tale from 2,000 years ago. Well, the sky spraying and the mobile phones, think about it. So it's just turn it off, tune it out. And the only reason I use my phone is to connect to my friends. That's it. I don't watch anything. I don't watch YouTube. I don't, bleh, nothing. Every
It's
once in a
good
while, I
for
use it
compass
for,
positions.
yeah. And then I have a computer at home that stays off until I need to do emailing. So fuck it. Hey, is Irene here today? Irene, are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
There you are. I just wanted to say, I just think you're beautiful. And I think that you're such a special person because you have an affinity for honesty. And not a lot of people are like that. You can tell it's so nice to be around honest people. And so right away, not to slight anybody else, but you wear honesty like a badge. How did you get to that point in your life? I have to ask because I've watched you for many, many hours now,
Oh,
and I had to get on. I was hoping I could talk to you because you're obviously putting out a lot of waves of honesty, which also is attached directly to integrity. You have a lot of integrity, but that's an internal thing that we develop with our soul over our being born and our childhood and our young adult life, and the type of peers we kept and the type of advice we received from friends and mentors and family. But I see this great thing of honesty. So tell me a little bit about that. Why is honesty so important to you? What was there
oh,
something that happened, or
uh,
it's just coming off of you like honest?
well, I was kind of born maybe awake. Maybe I had near-death experiences as I was a young kid, about three years old. So, which meant I got to see a little bit about the universe or
Sure.
about my own role, but still, you're like a baby.
That's
So,
amazing.
so
Right.
So yeah, from a young age, I felt very responsible about why I'm here. But then it was such a world difference between what I knew, knowing inside, and what you see around you. And then it's like, oh, it's way too heavy for me. So a lot of the time, I felt like giving up.
Yeah.
But then you just know you cannot because it's
Right.
impossible because you're in a way immortal, but you're kind of like infinitely dead here if you're immortal. And you
That's
experience
so,
life here, you're infinitely dead.
what a great metaphor. Yeah,
It's and
absolutely.
that's kind of like possibly it can drive you insane.
Sure.
So I just had, and obviously it didn't, but because you just the only way to survive is to hold on to your truth. So
Right.
my way of survival is not getting a mortgage or getting wiping
Right.
everybody out with my elbows. My way of surviving is like go into my heart, because that's all I know is true.
J'ai
So
compris.
it's kind of, it's really raw, but it's
Sure.
it is what it was. So it got me on a
Well, you
interesting
know what
journey.
you know
Yeah.
what you know what mortgage means in French, yeah? Mortgage. It's a death certificate.
Yeah, exactly. It's true. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, so yeah, so it's been um so so for me, when people would talk about spirituality or new age, I'm like, what the, I'm not gonna swear anymore. Are you talking about? It's
Right.
like it's all a fantasy, it's all a belief. But anyway, I had to learn. It's like everything here in the world is backwards. I learn everything is so I had to like double
Right.
function my
Right.
brain, because I'm here. I'm already on the finish line, kind of
Right.
way. So it feels almost like I come from the future, while I'm also feeling
I totally understand.
extremely ancient. So it's
I
like
get it.
I'm the beginning and the end, and that's why I always had a promise. I was here I was really here in the beginning. I also will be here. Also will be here in the end.
So, and you saw this and you had this deep understanding embedded, ingrained into your very soul, your genetics, in this
Yeah,
reality, in this life.
yeah,
And so at a very early age. So
yeah.
you saw the truth.
Hmm.
You saw the truth starting around 3 with these return, these leaving and coming back with
Yeah,
this.
you are the, and you know you are the truth.
Right.
You are, you
Right.
know you are it.
So you were handed this gift at the very earliest beginning of your childhood.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you realized it was a gift later, or it changed you so that you were a gift as a child. Were you a special child?
Well, I don't know.
Were you
Well,
given?
my parents would say you're really a rare breed.
Oh, there you go. You see?
But you know, it's kind of like you're, I don't know where you are, but you know, but
Well,
they were very protective of me because I
you
had no
know,
clue, you know.
when I was a little boy, I would tell my parents to answer the phone, and then they would say, "Well, the phone is not ringing," and then it would ring.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
it was
yeah,
one of those things. So I was special that way, but
yeah,
I never had that sort of out of body experience where you die and come back. That's very hardcore. And I
yeah,
suppose that would put you on the right path from the very beginning.
yeah. There's no
So,
other way.
uh-huh. That's great. That's
Yeah,
great. Well,
yeah, and also maybe it's interesting to say, because I really thought people were fooling me. It's like, are you all kidding me? You know,
right. They
and
didn't know any better.
and then the weird thing is kind of like you are, you know, and I had to learn really like not too long ago what it really means to be multidimensional, because I don't know any other way.
Right.
So it's
Right.
kind of weird that I like, oh, now I get it, you know, and all the teachings and stuff. It's all about, and like it's exactly what you're teaching. That's why I love you all guys so much, because you're so authentic. So it's so you're like my brothers, you know.
Right. Totally. Totally.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
why I was
So
telling. This is why I was saying to Lowell, we don't need to sell each other anything. We just need to get together and just be silent.
yeah,
Right.
and this is what we came here for, to kind of like get it all out. So that's a true teaching. Like I want to help you, like I want to assist. That's a teaching. Like
Right.
nurturing is a teaching, you know.
And it's very
And
brave. You have to be very brave. You really do. I don't think of
yeah,
myself as virtuous at all. I'm just a man, but I
yeah,
can I can see virtue in other people. Isn't that funny? I love myself and I get a chance to see myself every day if I want to. I go shave in the mirror. Sometimes I get sick of looking at myself, so I have 2 or 3 days growth. But I always have to, I look at myself, and this is also a good time to reflect, no pun intended. So I am forever asking myself if I've done everything I could do to be helpful. I always ask myself if I have been the best person I could be today, always, because it isn't your mission, and I'm not trying to prove anything to anybody. I have a very important life to get through. I'm a father, I have a business, and I have a at an admiration level with the local community. I make healthy pies for their children and things like this. So I have a reputation, but personally, it's a pathway. And I become very upset with myself when I'm lazy. And I need to be a little bit more gentle with myself, because when we are teachers, it means that we teach by doing and teach by example. And so that every moment of our life, we lead by example. Even when you're out at the shops and you're going to go buy vegetables or something, you still lead by example in the very way that you carry yourself and the way you express yourself to complete strangers. It's very important to always be your utmost. And I take these things very seriously. And I suppose, Irene, this is why I don't have a lot of male friends my age. I think most of my dearest friends are gals that are 40, 50, 60, and 70. And I don't have any problem with my mother or needing to be around older women. It's just sort of like older women go through this process where they know that when something is bullshit, it's bullshit. And so when I'm with the older guys, men are still having a lot of problems with their testicles and their egos. And so they think they should still be having lots of sex and doing this thing and being machismo. But it's almost a sad sort of goodbye to their genetic behavior and their genetic memory. And if men would embrace what they are, then they'll find that they don't need a pill to get an erection. But when you get older, I see many men around here that are 55, 65 with a 25-year-old girlfriend or a 30-year-old girlfriend. And I think, okay, well, I don't pass judgment, but I think it's a little silly, because what do you talk about? I need somebody who's mature, spiritually mature, somebody who has life experience, somebody who does something interesting and helpful. So I really enjoy listening to you speak, because you're so honest. And I don't find that in Southern California, at least with the community of men that are my age. Really, it's very difficult. And I think that's one of the reasons I garner myself to Lowell, is he's my senior by a couple of years, and he's always been very honest. And so it's very difficult to find male friends that are not driven by the ego of their memory. And it's such a pleasure to speak with you. I admire you very much.
It's about heart space. When you listen to, what you're talking about, the differences between the females that are open to the kinds of experiences we've had in sharing, their heart space is wide open. Fewer guys by design are that way. And you and I are just cut from different molds. Now,
I'm going
that's
to black
not to
out for a
say that
second,
every
but I'm
other
still here.
guy has to get there, because that's in order for us to ascend. You got to find that balance between masculine and feminine. That's what this is about. So, the times that I go to bat for feminism, it's just to achieve, what I know we need to. The bottom line is we're all connected, all connected.
Oh,
and
yeah.
So once we remind ourselves of that, it's a lot easier to move forward. Now you got to tune out all the white noise of everybody else who doesn't understand that yet, but it doesn't change the perspective that is the way that it is.
Yeah, it's actually, that's the way it is for them, because
Yes.
this whole masculine feminine thing, I don't lose my masculinity by not looking at 35-year-old gals going, oh yeah, man, she's really hot. I don't even think that way, because thoughts are things, and I'll get in trouble with God and with Kim Jim. So my head is clear. I think clearly. But
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I fucking just, I don't like the bullshit that I'm seeing with guys, and they need to get over it. Pardon my language. They really do. And I see that there are more of the feminine side of our species who have ascended and become masters. I see more men trying to catch up to that. And I can tell you, brother, I haven't lost my masculinity. I mean, I'm a stand-up guy. Don't get me wrong. If you do something wrong and I witness it, I'm going to knock you on your ass. But that doesn't mean I'm a good person or a bad person. It means that I am a male. Males do stupid stuff. But
that's a sovereign being taking action. Do no harm, but take no shit.
Yeah, bearing witness to something. But in the same respect, I have a much higher respect of women that started probably when I turned 45. and I was still a good looking, fit guy, but I just had a higher respect of women. And of course, I had an incredible mother, and all of her girlfriends were just amazing. And my dad was a great guy. So I always had good masculine role models as well. But the type of guys that I'm complaining about are the ones that just don't see beyond the thing that they were peddling 25 years ago. And it just blows my mind. That's why I was trying to give Irene a compliment and let her know why I respected her so much, is because she's just so bloody honest, and you could tell it comes off of her. And I love you too, Lowell. You're like that as well. But if anybody could be my teacher, boy, Irene, get your butt down to Southern California and sit in my garden for a week, and I will give you free pie just so I can learn from you.
Eh,
I don't think that that's a quality that she has intentionally mastered. That's just her. So this is the byproduct you get when Irene's in the room.
Yeah,
Yeah.
get some integrity on it.
yeah, and
We
this
all
is
love authentic people. Thank you very much. I like experiencers. The greatest gift I have every week is listening to somebody else's extraordinary thing that happened this week, not reviewing a book that was written in 2014. Yeah, that's what I like.
yeah,
Irene,
yeah, and this is what you can see when you're all in your authentic self, how powerful we are together. It's nothing to do with sex or whatever. This is a creation force. This
Mhm.
is how we just speak. We are creating. We're creating massive structures right now as we speak.
Yeah.
I mean, who cares about? I mean, I don't go into details, but I mean, you start to see everything so much more different. And to me, like, we got stuff to do here. And so and I think that's just the way I'm wired. It's kind of nothing else is interesting anymore.
thank
You know,
you. What a
Does it
really
make
great.
sense?
I think you nailed it right there. Nothing else is interesting anymore. Yeah, right. In the human experience, we just have to be as absolutely dead honest and helpful as possible, because really, if you look back at our species, we've done so much damage and so many terrible things as a race of animals that we really need to get over it. And just everything we do all the time has to be absolutely perfect, because we represent the past, and everything we bring forward has to be the exact opposite of our behavior in the past.
Yeah, and sometimes being like authentic and you're just sitting in the room or like the whole day, like this last year, I just had a kind of a sabbatical because my body needed to catch up. Like literally, my body's breaking down as we speak, but it's okay. I know I just need to be present with it. I'm not running away from it because it needs all that I need, to be here and to be not fragmented, but to have everything aligned. That's another thing. It's so beautiful, like whereas sometimes you need to go places to anchor, or you need to be there, to see things, or to receive things, or to anchor, or to activate, or to bring things, or whatever. And sometimes you need to go inside. So there's the
When
inside and
Dave
the
was
outside.
describing you at first, it made me think of, when we reincarnate when we're children, that kind of wonder and openness to everything.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so when I thought of Irene's case, Irene didn't let her perception change with, over time and all the elements that her perception stayed. That's why when she kept looking at everything else, she couldn't understand why it didn't align, because she already knew her truth. And that was her framework. She hadn't been interrupted by all the 3D crap around her that polluted her thinking, and none of that happened.
Yeah.
So here is an example of the soul that, went from get-go to now, and their
Yeah.
perception had been unaltered.
Yeah, Lowell,
Yes.
that's a great. I could quote that for you, Lowell. 3D crap that's altered our perception. It's all around the place. It's ridiculous. I just wanted to say adieu. A couple of friends of Lowell's are popping by to say hello, and we're going to open our shop in 10 minutes. Paula, Irene, Lowell, love you guys. You're just the terrific group to pop in on. Thanks for letting me talk at all. It was such a privilege. I love you guys. I'll talk to you later.
Thanks so
Say hi to
much.
the gang.
Bye. Bye, Paula.
Bye.
All right, so Paula, I want to get back to, we touched on Lemurian energy, and I know that left an imprint when I said that today. How does that make you feel, especially knowing that it's so close to Texas?
Yeah, I'll have to say that when I was feeling this connection and heard you were in Sedona, the first thing I did was, okay, how long is the drive from where I'm at to Sedona? And it is kind of a chunk of time still. It's still 16 hours. It's a ways, but
It's a 2-day drive.
it's a 2-day drive. Yeah, yeah. I just, you know what? I feel like Irene and Lowell and myself and other tribe members are going to find ourselves there. I don't think we're going to have to effort it. I think it's going to come naturally. It's going to be like a pull from the heart in our gut system. It's just going to, I just know it. And I don't know exactly what you're saying in terms of, I'm excited to hear and whenever you're ready to share what the plan is, but I feel it's very connected to Sedona. I just really do.
This time of year it is. Here, I'll give you a little bit of where my mindset was like last year when like a lot of you was kind of secluded. Like, I wasn't really getting any signal to move. My heart was in Shasta, and there is a parcel there that is waiting for us. That's perfect for, small scale mystery schools. I wasn't interested in going there to have a conference. I was interested in a handful of tribe. Let's all get together and over a week see what evolves from that. Because when the tribe gets together and they're on the same vibration, magic just shows up. So imagine in the winter months, I was figuring that I would head to the south somewhere anyway. Didn't have a destination in mind. And I don't know that in the scheme of things, I would have picked Sedona because, the mindset's just, it's really expensive to go there and it's busy. And, I clearly I manifested this without manifesting this. Because the situation I find myself in here is like, I've got luxuries here. How did I just step into this? There are days when I can understand what being a Buddhist monk is like, because a certain degree of what I'm doing here, I came to assist Julie and Tim because of my hospitality background. And with this parcel that they've got, how do you use it as a retreat center without calling it that? And it is not a retreat center that is open to initiates. There is a specific vibration here that the right people will find. And I find it's people that vibrate already like this that are just at a level I can't get any further. So my job is, if you want to come here and spend a week with me, I will show you how I found this energy and take you to places where you'll find it on your own. It's not for me to sit you in a classroom and go through the metrics of how you find meditation. You're already there, guys. That's not, initiates we'll meet with on Saturdays at 100 at a time in our room and talk about our experiences there. But this is for people who are ready to prepare themselves for contact. It is imminent. Look, that's why I was just this past week when it all assimilated. My connection with the Lemurians is intact. And I knew where that was going. And last year, when I'd been told there would be increased contact, I thought that meant for others, not for me. So when I get to Sedona and it happens again like this, I went, okay, well, maybe some of this was for me, always so that I can start to get the rest of you associated with it. But I have to admit, 2 days ago, when all of this just came to me, and I realized that the same magic light being experiences I had in Shasta, I replicated here in Sedona all by myself. Part of me at first said, screw everybody else. I got mine, you guys go get yours. But I'm just excited about the people I've talked about it with since then. And man, they're all ready to be plugged in. You can tell that there's a level that they're at that they just haven't gotten past that because they haven't found anybody else they can open up and have these conversations with. So it's time for the tribe to assemble, but like maybe 10 at a time max. Both of these parcels have 5 bedrooms each, and they're capable of putting 2 people in a room. I'm not interested in doing numbers. It's not about that. I would be happy with 5 people here. Everybody's got their own bedroom. The campus is energetic as hell. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the campus, however, because we're going out to the Red Rocks where you can connect. Wow. I don't know how I did that, but that was cool. That's what mystery school is supposed to be. You're coming here to have your own experiences. And I didn't realize that until the Shasta conference. I was asked to, think about doing an energetic hike as one of the workshops. I fought it at first because I couldn't think of what was suggested, that I take 30 or 40 people off grid. No. First of all, people that are going to make this trek, I'm not helping anybody on their way. If they can't make it, then they weren't meant for this. They have to make it themselves. So when I came up with a more reasonable number myself, and my guides kind of kicked me in the ass and said, it's not about you taking them there to have an experience that you think you have to provide for them. You're just supposed to take them there to let them have the experience themselves. And when I surrendered to that, it ended up doing exactly that. People's remarks after that day, people had experiences that they illustrated and showed me the next day. And the one person who claimed that she saw a being, when she illustrated, showed me the picture the next day, looked a lot like Alex, the person I've had my experience with there. So that's what I feel better about. Look, I'm no different in my physicality, and I'm human like everybody else, which means you all can achieve this same level if you're willing to kind of put in the work. And that's all about mindset and alignment. And we're at a point where Earth is already kind of bumping up against the next level of consciousness, which is why we can experience it this way. We can have it. I'm straddling dimensions as we speak. I can speak about the things that are there because I have one foot in that realm. That's what I'm trying to help you all get to see. But I'm not beating anybody over the head with it, and I never intended to. If you don't get it, I send you love and light, but get out of the way because we're moving forward. It just occurred to me, it's almost the end of November. Where did 2023 go?
Agreed.
So you want to examine how quickly the timeline is accelerating, and then just look at the solar activity from yesterday, saying, prepare yourselves.
Yeah, it's exciting. And surely there's, just like with Shasta, there's portals to inner Earth in those rocks, for sure.
I know the location of where the vortex exists. So to establish a portal that can be open, so that multi-dimensional experience, Lemurians coming here, us going there, this place is energetically suited for that very thing. And that's what I was saying before. Those people who vibrate at that level, the conditions here are right for you to have your experience.
Yay. And I think for me, I'm gonna end for today, but boy, what a powerful meeting today, and what a great experience. All the things that Dave shared, always Irene inspires me. I'm so excited to be a part of this tribe. Thank you so much, everybody, for everything.
Well, there's one more thing, and I'm going to officially assign this to you. We've been talking about doing one of these podcasts based on evidentiary mediums and the whole idea behind that and what others should see themselves as. And we all agree you should be leading that one.
Well, you know what? To be honest, I have done that before, so I would be more than happy to pick that up again,
Next Saturday.
Okay. Next Saturday. All right. What time?
This podcast.
This podcast. Okay. So we want people to come in and like do a little bit of evidentiary
It's
mediumship
always
and
open. I want them to have a greater
show them how.
comprehension of what that notion is, because
Okay.
when you said those two words to me, it rung a bell. And there are a lot of other people that are having these experiences, and we want to help them understand why they are. So whether they show up next Saturday live, and we hope that they will, because we love when they interact, this message will be out there as kind of a marker for you when you hear that phrase. I don't know that I want to say that, you know, she coined it. Regardless, that has meaning. That whole due diligence, that's who Paul has been. That's who I've been. I went out to find these things out for myself. You saw me on the Red Rocks yesterday getting my own answers. That's what this is about. So the whole idea of evidentiary mediums aren't the talking heads that are sitting around talking about something they heard. No, these people are having real multidimensional experiences, and they're coming back to report it.
Yeah, in fact, of course, all, the majority of beings in the universe communicate telepathically. And really what it is you receive information telepathically, and then you convey it to somebody that can't receive things telepathically or understand how to do it yet. So this is the norm. This is human evolution and development, the realization of it. And everybody can do it. Everybody can. And I teach people how to, connect at a soul level, and then, multidimensional. Then it's your loved ones from the other side. And then that evolved into blue beings that would come in and heal people in the sessions that I would have. And then that evolved into the people from Inner Earth. And crystals can speak to you, trees, animals. It's the most beautiful and connected experience I've ever experienced in my life. And it's part of who we are, everybody naturally. But yeah, our gifts, we have to open them, don't we? We have to be willing to receive them.
I saw a meme a long time ago that just said we all carry those gifts, just some people haven't unwrapped them yet.
We haven't unwrapped them yet. That's right. It's time to unwrap them. It's part of our new world and how we're going to communicate for the future. So it's important that we do that. And it's the most wonderful heart-centered experience you could ever have. It's wonderful.
That's right. Irene, any closing thoughts, ma'am?
No, yeah, it's beautiful, and it's so beautiful where, anybody who listens to, it doesn't matter what point you are at. It goes to show how different we are, and it doesn't matter. And it's just your intent. When I was very young, I needed to intend what I wanted from the truth, because there's indeed a lot of stuff out there. And so once you set your intent, your life's gonna unfold, and you're gonna be nudged. So all of a sudden, a thought drops in your head. So you don't even need to plan, or you think you're behind, or like, I should go to Manchester. I have to go. Just your intent is enough, and just forget about it, or go back to the rest to your life, and just allow just these, this guidance to show up. All of a sudden you feel this nudge, and everything just falls into place. Don't need to force anything. If you try to force things, it's a less pleasurable experience. But nowadays, things can go so fast. So no matter what situation you're in, it can just switch overnight. So don't worry about your situation. And we're all here. We're all, there's already quite a bit of people that, are here to support you, whether you're aware of them or not. So just know that we're all here, whether we're close by or not, doesn't matter. Just trust that we're, humanity is evolving, and we're getting to an honest humanity where we truly want to thrive together.
Well,
Anyway.
Geographical distance didn't make any difference today, because where are you again today? Real time?
I'm in the Netherlands.
And I'm in Arizona, and Paula is in Texas. So, geography didn't get in the way of us finding tribe today and talking about the things we were supposed to. So that's what we're going to continue to do. Last thoughts, Paula?
Just thank you so much. And I can't express the truth in what Irene was saying about just set an intention and then move on with your life. I set an intention that I would experience Shambhala, freedom and justice for all, 2 years ago. And then somehow that presented itself in the way of Talos, which I'd never heard of before. And it's like, oh, the fun of how spirit works within us and through us and for us is just the most magical thing ever. So I just want to parrot what Irene was saying on that for sure. Yeah.
Well done, young human. We're almost there.
I think we're all,
Yeah.
I really believe it. It's so
And,
exciting.
Yeah, it will keep on being an adventure. So sometimes an adventure is a little dangerous, but in the end, you just know everything's going to be all right. You know, sooner or
It
later.
wouldn't be, we don't know anything about an adventure. So unless you're willing to go into the unknown, you're never going to discover any of this stuff.
Exactly.
So if you really want to experience magic, and you're honest about it, don't say no when it shows up. I'm just going to leave us with that. So have a good Saturday, and I'll see you all next week. Thank you.
Thank you so much.